I just want the audience to take a moment and look behind that uniform and look behind the guns. And what I think they would see is a man, not a soldier. They will see a father, not a soldier. They will see a husband, not a soldier.
Shooting this movie was quite an experience.
Scene 140, Slate 53, take 1.
Ah, 76 is a stylized drama entrenched with deep philosophy. It's a story about love, about honor and integrity. Set in the 70s during the oil boom era, a decisive decade in our political history. 76 is set within the time that relationship between the North and the South was still very fragile. A young girl from the East in love with a young soldier from the Middle Belt. The relationship went on to prove that love is stronger than our senseless tribal and religious boundaries.
A historical kind of story set back in 1976 that had to do with the assassination of Nigerian military president at the time, General Mohammed.
So what we did is to weave a romantic story into an event that occurred in this country in the 70s. So that way, the history is a pleasure to watch.
And I think it's more embedded in the women.
For once, we heard the woman's side of it. You know, we hear, of course, most of the films you hear is about a soldier or how they have lived or everything about the glory of a soldier. They do well. But you see those women there too do well.
So we don't really know how much they have to sacrifice, but you know, this kind of tells the tale of that.
So in the film, you'll see a bit of the assassination, the coup attempt, but it takes you through a journey.
You know, you get a sense of the life in the barracks. You get a sense of what the soldiers' wives had to go through. To a great extent, this movie was looking at the role of the woman in the home of a traditional military family.
It took us about 2 years and a bit at the pre-production stage, you know, trying to set everything, you know, back in time, 76, get the right cars, the right furniture, even the right paint on the walls. Okay, we had to make sure the entire environment was prepared.
So we went in search of vintage vehicles too, that we renovated, some for several months, some for years.
The one we found, we had to completely go and resuscitate the Baba from pension so that he could help us put all the hydraulics and stuff like that. So that tells you how difficult it is really to make a film in Nigeria, especially if you have to make a period movie.
We didn't have control of the streets. Sometimes at the time we had to apply to the state government, the other state government where we shot, we applied to shoot on sanitation day and it was approved. So sometimes we go out at 6 a.m. on sanitation day to be able to capture the street empty and litter the streets with our own cast and props.
We had to film inside the drainage and we had to prepare a drainage for filming. The army also helped us in getting even the kind of truck that was in use as of the period. The uniforms, Nigerian army uniform that were in use of the uniform, the caps and so on, is not like today.
Even when we had the permission of the army, some of the things that we wanted from the army were no longer in their inventory. So we decided to go door to door. We started scouting for historical materials, vintage properties, to be able to interpret these stories. It was difficult because they were not in existence anywhere, so we had to search deeper, sometimes for several months before one item is actually, produced.
And then we have to also get into the archives for photographs, correct photographs, dance steps, movement, and we got people. So every detail, we have to be able to research, know what the social life within the three cadres, the A, B, and the C class of Nigeria then. But there are something that you will see, that Nigerians looked a little bit more healthy in the 76 than today. These are the period that almost everybody was recovering from the Civil War. Way of life then was military, and then we had people, the social aspect of it, the kind of dressing, the influence of American culture, pop culture by then. You had the Michael Jacksons, you had James Brown, and you had all this group coming in. You know what today you people call old school, but old school is not just the music, it's also a way of life.
You're going to see that there were some live footages, of the events that happened during that 1976 coup that resulted in the assassination of the general, right? General Murtala Mohammed. Footages of the execution, the announcements, and all that, they were all live that were infused in this movie.
So we had to create these shoes, those popular akbolas. There's nowhere you find it, but took photographs of it and we made them. We actually prepared them in Ibadan. Not every other thing was involved in these things. We actually had to choreograph people to walk the way people walk. Not what people do today, but people who used to be called guys and chicks of those days, they have a way of walking and carriage and stuff like that. We had to put all these things into consideration.
I mean, we had everything from back in the days. This was set in 1976. And there will be nothing in that movie to make you think we were not in 1976.
And then again, we had the issues of budget. This is film. We shot on film, and then so we had to buy stock from abroad, and then use special cameras and all of that. And then the shoot lasted for that long.
The story is a period film. Some of them were not even born in the 70s, but they were able to do their best in bringing these characters to life.
Well, this film, we were in Ibadan for 6 months shooting. First of all, we spent almost 2 months rehearsing.
Basically, preparations, rehearsals, military training.
We took a whole lot of time trying to be, to have some, background military trainings and all of that. And that tends to put us in that military state of mind.
It took us over a year and a half to get the support of the Nigerian army.
The colonel assigned to us by the chief of army staff then insisted that he didn't want us to act as military people, but he wanted us to be military people in the movie. So it was really, really painstaking.
Let's go! If you know you are, halt! Don't halt! Halt! If you hear, if I'm throwing that word of command, don't stop!
Yes, sir.
Don't stop!
Yes, sir.
Come in! Wait! What is this? I tell you how to march incline.
Yeah, you said by the right.
Shut up! By the right, you by the right. You should by the right. And you! Be careful, oh!
You see what they go through, so.
It wasn't a joke. You had to get it right.
Although after the second day of military training, I almost gave up. I was like, are you serious? Is this what we have to go through? It's just a film. Can't we just film and go?
We had weeks and months of drilling, of military drills, having to wake up in the morning and have this quartermaster guy, whoever it was, on the barracks, screaming his voice out as if he was talking to friends. And I'm looking at him like, hello, excuse me, some of us are not really soldiers here.
And then they make us wake up early in the morning and go to the military barracks every day before 7 a.m. Once we walked through the gates of the barracks or got through the gates of the barracks, we stopped being civilians, we stopped being actors, and we became their tools, we became soldiers.
The public relation aspect of the Nigerian army is incredible. A lot of historians, a lot of, let me say, people who are completely in-depth in our history.
I think the army is a different place now. They even have departments set up specifically to liaise with civilians and address civilian or civil affairs.
And Nigeria feels that for us to collaborate with this particular organization will actually help to also broaden and also showcase the Nigerian Army in more light. We see your films and we see some of them are highly strategic films and some are highly educated films.
I think this film will reaffirm the belief of Nollywood.
This movie, as you see it, it was totally all indigenous, you know, both cast and crew, all indigenous. No foreign hand had to come in and shoot it to make it look way over the top.
When these guys are out there in the battlefield fighting, when they are fighting in war fronts, every incident that occurs in the battlefield, someone somewhere is paying the price. And that's why we decided, our thought got stirred in the direction of the people that actually get to bear this when these eventual losses occur.